How you guys doing?
Pretty good, actually. We were.
He's the drama one, and I'm the pretty one.
Yes, I am the one. I am the one who has been targeted for light death suicide earlier today.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Ooh, I love it. Ooh, he did John Wayne. He did John Wayne.
I may just have to put that in my Twitter profile.
Oh no!
Recently targeted for light death suicide.
Amen.
Darren, tell me about your John Wayne comic.
Yes.
My John Wayne comic book?
Yes.
Yeah, we did it. It was a couple of years ago. We did. Actually, no, it was about.
It was 2018.
Yeah, sorry. I get them all mixed up after a little bit. The John Wayne one.
Get them all mixed up after a little bit.
I know. So the John Wayne one was,
happens.
I love, like, old Hollywood. I love classic movies. And so I started doing ones on... hold on, my phone is cracking there.
There we are. We've got you.
That was anticlimactic.
Started doing ones on, like...
Nothing. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I started doing comic books on... like Lucille Ball and these tribute ones. And so I really wanted to do something on John Wayne. I've always been a fan. And I like to do comic books that people never think that we're going to do. So, like, I'll throw in, like, a Christopher Reeves or George Reeves. So, it's not always the mainstream people.
So, you need a superhero named Jaybird Wells now.
Oh, duh. Of course.
That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on the telephone.
Awesome.
And so, how did you get interested in the world of comics?
I was a fan ever since I was like a little kid. But I never really wanted to work in comic books. I just wanted to, just be a fan. And so I worked my way through the entertainment industry. I studied that in college and all that stuff. And then DC Comics doubled my salary, and I was like, okay, bye.
That's awesome.
I like that.
And so just from there, I was working at DC. I was watching all these creators create such amazing things, and I was actually representing them, getting them jobs outside of comic books, so doing like video game packaging and that type of stuff. And so I thought to myself, hey, I'm going to try to create my first comic book, and I did, and it launched at the 6th highest selling comic book called The 10th Muse, and it just did really well. I'm still really proud of it, and that was 18 years ago.
I thought you were only like 20.
Oh, no. I wish. I just actually celebrated a milestone birthday, so...
Look at that.
25. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, that was 18 years ago, and I've just been, doing mostly fiction books for most of that time, and then I started doing biography comic books in 2008.
TidalWave.
Yes. Tell us a little about some of the other comic books that you do, my friend.
Yeah, he did an Ellen.
Yeah, so what happened with the biography things is, so in 2008, we were, it was the election, and Hillary Clinton, there was somebody that was doing a comic book on John McCain, and then they also did one on Barack Obama. And so I thought, you know what, we do about female empowerment, like a lot of our female superheroes are, like, empowermental. And so we thought, do a biography comic book. And so we did Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton because we thought they were being treated unfairly in the press because people were more concerned about, like, their looks than actually their qualifications. So
I like him.
So it ended up, like, doing really well. And so it kind of changed the way that I was doing comic books because, as I said, I was kind of doing fiction books up until then. And so it kind of like spun into, doing Ellen DeGeneres comic books and Carrie Fisher comic books and Barbara Walters and like all these like biography things. And it was just so, it was so great. And it's actually rewarding because a lot of schools and libraries pick them up now too.
Yes. I think I've seen one actually.
Very cool. Yeah, you can go to the library and check out our books. You can check out, I don't know if you know this or not, but you can go to libraries with the digital world being what it is now. You can bring your Kindle or your Nook or your iPad and go into a library and you can check out books just with, you can check out digital books too.
And you wonder why authors are, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to my world.
I think we have a lot in common.
We have got
Lord.
We have got Darren Davis with us today. He joins us on the telephone.
The talented Darren Davis.
Yes.
Why, thank you.
Star, stage, and screen, Darren Davis.
Exactly, yeah.
As we like to say sometimes on this program. The topic today, heavy metal legends get the comic book treatment. Metallica, Ozzy, Motley Crue, and more. Tell us a little bit about this and why you decided to put this whole thing together, doing these rock and roll guys.
You know, so, like, as I said, it kind of started with this female force empowerment thing, and then then I thought, okay, this is great, let's do more, let's do other type of biographies. So we broke into the political world, and then we broke into, you know, tributes, and then I'm like, let's do rock stars. You know, because back in the day, it was like in the 80s and 90s, there was a comic book company called Rock and Roll Comics that were doing, you know, comic books about rock and roll people.
Yes.
And so we're just basically the next generation to that, and we actually struck up a deal with the people that ran Rock and Roll Comics to actually republish their old books as well. So, which is the Hard Rock Heroes, which is like a 200-page graphic novel, is their old stuff that they had. But then we started doing newer ones, and especially like heavy metal people. You know, I really wanted to do one on Alice Cooper. He's a huge comic book fan. Metallica, you know, I'm a fan. Motley Crue. It's just, you know, it's endless of what we can do. You know, we are working on one on Guns N' Roses right now.
Nice.
Who would you guys think I should do next?
I was sitting here racking my brain trying to figure that out.
It's you never know. There might be one on you guys coming.
No, it would be if you did a comic book on J. Bird Wells. That would do excellent, but if you ever did a comic book on me, it would be the lowest selling comic book in the history of comic books.
Oh, please. You just got to have the
People
drama.
actually might just buy it just so they can burn it. It is a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
I think our Victoria Justice one was the lowest selling one that we've ever had.
Victoria? I don't know who that
is. She was like one of the, because when I do these books, I really try to keep things as evergreen as possible. And so when I do people that are just like flash in the pan, I know that sounds really mean to say about her, but she was one of those like Nickelodeon stars that she was supposed to have like
Victoria
one big hit
Justice.
movie. She was supposed to have a breakout movie, and it just like tanked.
She sounds like a professional wrestler.
Yeah, totally. That's how. Do you like wrestling?
Yes. Yes, I do. I'm a huge wrestling geek.
I don't know if you know this, but the first comic book I ever produced was the 10th Muse, as I told you. And so what we did for marketing, because back in the day, I learned how to do marketing and advertising and all this stuff. So I used Sable from the WWF to be my muse and be the photo model for the 10th Muse. And so we sold like tens of billions because of her. So
wow.
Awesome.
Were you a fan of her? Or were you a
Sable. I try not to say too much about Sable because of who she's married to. She's married to Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to know her when she was married to Mark.
When she was married to Marco Mero.
Okay.
Yes.
I have an idea. You need to do a biography on Heath Ledger.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Because
you'd one on him.
He was like, yeah. I'll have to send you some links why he's so important to my family.
Okay, no, I'd like to see that. And they're rebooting the Joker movie, so that's actually gonna. They did that a couple days ago with Joaquin Phoenix. They just greenlit it.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Good timing.
River Phoenix's brother.
Hey, question.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead, Jay.
Do you ever set up at Comic-Cons, or do you guest at Comic-Cons?
I have in the past. You know, it's been doing this for 18 years. Sometimes I get a little burnt out on that because it is like being in a fishbowl. So I tend to become shyer in those environments. But I have done them. I've been to Waco, and there's a couple in Portland that I'll do every once in a while.
But you need to do the smaller ones because they're actually more friendly, and they feel like more of a big family.
Right, and that's where the Waco one was so good to me, and so I'll go there every year, and they've treated me, and I'll totally travel to go to that. Yeah, it is kind of like summer camp, is what it has been like. San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming up next week, it's too big, and, we worked with William Shatner, and so, even with him at our booth, we would be lost. So, because it's not about comic books anymore, it's about pop culture.
Yes.
When they start having the cast of Pretty Little Liars come in, you're like, what? That's not Comic-Con.
They're just merchandising too much nowadays.
Exactly.
And it's not about having fun anymore. Or making people laugh and live, love, and learn again.
And it's definitely not about Comic-Con. It's not about comics, so...
No.
I like him. Can we have him on the show again?
We will. We will put him in.
You guys can call me every day. We'll just be best friends and just hang out.
No, Jiggy won't do that, but I might be able to do that.
She might actually do that. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Except when you talk to a mother, it's like talking to a woman with Tourette's. So. Yeah.
Oh no.
You'll be like sitting there talking all nice and neat, and then all of a sudden, get that cat out of the oven.
What?
Cat in the oven? Wow.
Well, that's what you do with telemarketers when they keep calling.
I always just act like they're on the radio. I'm like, you're caller number 5. Then they'll be like, I didn't know this was a radio station. They hang up.
I need to do that.
Something even meaner, because there's the ones now that call that they go, hey, can you turn on your computer? And okay, and I'm like, what, can you turn on your IBM computer or your office computer? And I'm like, I have a Mac, and I'm like sitting there going, like, I know this is like not real, and so then I'll start like. I work from home, so I get bored a lot. So then I'll start like having like talking phone sex to them. I literally will do that.
Oh my God, I did that.
I do it, and some people will because they want to get you on the phone and keep you on the phone. I'm like, okay, let's see how long we can do this.
I've asked them what they wanted for Christmas, and then
that is awesome.
Or I'll hand it to my kids and tell them to tell them what they want for Christmas.
Tell the telemarketers what you want for Christmas. That's fantastic.
I accidentally had one call me back because I said, "What are you wearing?"
I've done that. Yeah, it's the best. And they're like, "What?" And then I'm like, then I get a little more graphic just because I want to push the buttons.
That's fantastic.
Well, it was freaky when one called me back and said, "Were you the girl who asked me to have sex?"
Wow.
I was like, "Oh my God, this is not my cell phone."
That's fantastic.
This is better than like Match.com.
We have got Darren Davis with us today.
Yes.
Joins us live. TidalWaveComics.com. Also find him.
Talented Darren.
Find him on Twitter. TidalWave Prod. And you have got a great series of comic books here about heavy metal legends, Metallica, Ozzy, Motley Crue. John Wayne, of course, but he's not a heavy metal legend. But you have done
not yet.
That's the next one coming out.
That's the next one coming out. So it is. Not yet. Now,
I like him.
Now, Darren.
I've done over 300 biographies. Like, you name it, I've probably done it. So that's why I'm like always like interested. Like, what do you think? So we've done
Heath Ledger.
Some of them are like kind of like weird, but I mean, like, and some of them are great. So we've done, as I said, Freddie Mercury, Britney Spears, Justin. And sometimes it's really great because we get to work with a lot of the celebrities, and so having Barbara Walters call your house is pretty cool. But having Bill Clinton's personal assistant call you because they want you to send them a personal copy of the Hillary Clinton comic book, you're like, go buy it. So
that's awesome.
Fun.
Yeah, been there, done that.
So So the whole process of putting something like this together, for instance, doing like you were saying there, the Bill Clinton comic book. What is the process of putting something like that together? Do you
man.
Do you seek them out? Do you just do the comic book and then get a hold of them? How does all this work?
It really depends on the subject. And with the political ones, the problem with those is that we don't really reach out to them because we want to keep those so, unbiased as possible. And because literally at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to know who I vote for. And because we do have a responsibility to schools and libraries and, and also the fans and stuff, I don't want any agendas in there. But you look at people like Donald Trump or Sarah Palin, who are bigger than life, and some of the stuff they do is cartoony, and you can't really not show that. So, and then, it's really, as I said, we do really try to keep stuff so unbiased with those. But with the celebrities, we pretty much know who we want to do like in advance, and so either we'll contact them, we'll donate a percentage of the proceeds to a nonprofit of their choice, and then we'll also give the nonprofit an ad and really promote them. And so, like with Ellen DeGeneres, we did that with the Humane Society.
That's awesome.
Yeah, kinda. So it depends if you're a right wing or left wing, because I got death threats from like the Sportsman Alliance group.
You were targeted for light, death, truth, suicide.
True. Yeah.
Look at that!
Like,
wow! Now you guys can be all buddy-buddy.
We can be buddy-buddy now.
Totally. And it's super weird because you just sit there going, oh my God, this is puppies and kittens, and now you're like threatening my life, and like seriously, like
puppies and kittens and get out.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's scary getting death threats. It's not always fun.
Yes.
And I just found out that we have Darren to blame for the Justin Bieber comic.
Duh, 2 of them.
There's 2 of them. Holy smokes. Wow.
Yeah, that was me.
Yes.
Love it. But like with the Sportsman Alliance thing, I reached out to them and I said, hey, look, before you threaten us and stuff, if Sarah Palin wanted to have the Sportsman Alliance be part of the comic book that we're doing on her, and like if she was a celebrity at that point instead of a politician, we would have run an ad for that. And so it just happened to be that Ellen chose the Humane Society, and it's Carrie Fisher picked the Bipolar Foundation, and then we just started getting all these like weird death threats, and it was like kind of creepy.
Yeah,
but fun.
That definitely sounds like, if as an author, I can understand both of those people picking those subjects. That's just who they go after.
Totally, and so it's just a little weird to me, but it's the death threats are gone. I just don't answer my door anymore.
Sounds like I need to empower you.
Perfect. Sold.
We've got Darren Davis with us today. He joins us live. TidalWaveComics.com is the official website. Go over there and check that out. Also, find him on Twitter, TidalWaveProd. And he has got these fantastic comics. Now, with somebody like, I noticed you did a Michael Jackson one. Do you do that did you write that when he was still alive, or did you write that after?
That was actually the first tribute that we ever did, and and it was kind of cool when I did that one, because I actually got to his family's blessing on it, and they really liked the book. So yeah, with the tribute books, we're not really gonna, once again, these are, when I was a kid, I collected Teen Beat magazine. I collected Teen Beat, but I also I collect every issue of TV Guide for 6 years. It was so weird.
Wow.
I was I loved TV. I loved all that stuff. And so I want the books that we do to really showcase for a fan. So yeah, there's some books that we'll do that I've done. I think 2 books that that were infamous, and one was Charlie Sheen, Infamy, and Lindsay Lohan, and those were the only 2 that were just kind of they weren't posing the best things in the world. And so with the other books, I really want, if we do a Cristiano Ronaldo comic book, it's going to be for his fans. And so with the Michael Jackson one, we definitely did it, kind of pro him. So
that's cool. That's really cool, actually. We have go ahead, Jay.
So are you the artist, or do you just sit there and oversee it?
I'm the overlord.
The Star Lord.
Actually, yeah, I used to write a lot more. I stopped writing because I just don't have time. But yeah, I hire a couple writers to do it, to do different ones depending on the subjects and that type of stuff. And then I have like a bunch of artists who do the books, different artists and stuff. So
yeah, because when people check into that, there's some artists that it's like $200 to $500 per page,
right.
And then you count like 20 pages, and that's just drawing it. That's not even the fill of it, or was it the darkening?
It's the inking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes from pencils. It goes from script. So you have to pay for script, pencils,
yep.
Inking, coloring, lettering,
marketing.
Marketing and post production too.
Yeah. Yep. I know it.
And then, because nowadays you have to get things ready for, the internet. You have to get books that are, ebook ready.
Yep.
So that can go on a Nook or Kindle.
And that's a different process in itself because the format's different.
Yes.
Right. All the formats are totally different, and they have to be under a certain megabytes and all this stuff. And I think our books are in probably like over 150 different locations. So for like digital books alone.
Yeah.
And that's all across the world too.
My reader fans want me to do prequel graphic novels for my sci-fi, and that's like over 61 graphic novels, and you're talking that much money per graphic novel, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get the second sci-fi out.
See,
yes.
here, I'll give you some advice here. So why I started doing more biography comics than fiction is back in the 90s, comic book sales were probably about 9 million. X-Men #1, when they relaunched it in the 90s, was 9 million copies. And that now the top-selling comic book through like traditional distribution and all that stuff is maybe 100,000. And so you look at the drop-off at, that's like a Marvel, DC, Walking Dead, all that type of stuff. So the sales, you look at movies like Avengers and Ant-Man and Wasp and like all these things being like #1s in the box office, and they can't. But there's nobody that wants to read the comics anymore.
Yes.
So.
Well, that's happening all over.
People, read.
Yes. It doesn't take that much time to read. You can read outside.
Okay, here's a question for you guys. How long do you think it takes you to read a 22-page comic book? There's actually science to this. Sorry, kids, we're learning science.
Probably takes me an hour, but like I'm a mother with like a woman with Tourette's.
It traditionally should take somebody 7 minutes to read through a comic book, but then they have rereadability and all that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say 30, but when you got the goat trying to eat the comic book out of your hands, I mean.
I usually don't have that problem.
See?
Yes.
I have that problem.
Yeehaw.
We have got a
ding, 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 ding,
a
ding.
great guest with us today here on our program, and
talented,
very talented, Mr. Darren Davis, and check out TidalWaveComics.com. And so what's next for you, my friend? What do you have in the pipeline and everything?
We're starting to break into novels now, and so prose novels, and we just released 2 of them. One is I did a modern-day version of Dorian Gray. And so it's basically like
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's actually being optioned for a TV show, and it's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Gossip Girl. so it's more of a modern day take on it. And so we released a graphic novel a couple years ago, and now we're doing novels. And so the first novel just came out. We're also doing Sinbad, Rogue of Mars, which was based off one of our graphic novels. And then you never know, we might be doing some new biography comic books. Like, I know I'm working on a Ringo Starr one.
Oh.
Who do you think would be the in politics today? Who do you think would be the funnest person to do?
The funnest, most entertaining,
or somebody that
politics?
Yeah.
Oh, man, politics. I guess, I mean, if you're going for controversy, since controversy sells, you've already done Donald Trump, I think.
Yep.
I saw that. I would have to...
Stormy.
I don't know. I still have to go with Herman Cain. I wanted him.
Herman Cain
we
comic
did a
book?
Herman Cain comic book.
You do?
Yeah, we did a Herman Cain comic book.
That's awesome.
What about Paul
Herman
Harvey?
Cain.
Did you do a tribute to Paul Harvey?
No.
Paul Harvey, the radio guy. And that's the rest of the story.
Yeah.
That guy.
No, I have not done Paul
God,
Harvey.
I don't know if anybody would buy a Paul Harvey
I need
comic
some
book.
kind of
I don't know anybody that would buy a Paul Harvey comic book.
I don't know anybody that would do that.
We might be doing Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
See, I just want to stay out of the politic world.
You do?
I do want to stay out of it, but I'm being harassed on Facebook.
Oh, totally. That's why I never put one way or another who, as I said, who I'm voting for or anything. Like, even, in my personal Facebook stuff, I never talk politics. But the one thing I have to say about my political comic books is that I've always voted, but I'm not going to say I was, the most informed voter until I started doing these comic books and actually having to do the research and having to know and read about these people. And, and especially during election season, like this 2016, we did Paul Ryan and Jeb Bush, and we did Hillary, and we did Bernie Sanders, and so I really got to learn a lot, and so I do feel like I'm a lot more informed now.
Well, that's good.
And people can be too by reading these comic books.
I was waiting for that.
At least he's a salesman.
I know.
That's good.
But see,
that's all I do. Yeah.
I need to get some kind of a commission for coming up with all these ideas.
See? It is a great guest today. He joins us live, and so working in the comic book industry, is it a lot easier now than it used to be, or how does that stack up, my friend?
It's a lot worse. Just because of social media, just like when you put yourself out there anywhere, you're open for fodder, and and I literally had to get a thicker skin.
Yes.
Because when I first started, maybe message boards, and those were pretty mean, and so you can shut those down pretty easy. Now with Twitter and Facebook and all that type of stuff, people are on an even platform, and so people can say the meanest stuff that they can say, and nobody's accountable. And that goes through celebrities and all these other people, writers and all that. And you have to have a thicker skin to be able to do anything that's in the public eye. But it is, I think, for an artist in this world, I think it's a lot easier because you can now self-publish, and self-publishing is a lot easier to do in this day and age because of there's Amazon. You can just upload your book, you can upload ebooks, and I think actually as creepy as it sounds, the 50 Shades of Grey was actually a Twilight fan fiction book that actually was an ebook, and it's really the book that actually it's the book that saved Barnes & Noble because of the Nook, and it was because people were reading it, and so I do think it's easier to get published in this day and age. And artists, I think they have an easier time because they can also draw on their tablets. So I never see, when I used to have to, a big part of when I did it in the 2000s, I'd have to pay, FedEx for FedExing pages back and forth. It's super expensive. Now everything can be so, I never see originals. And so everything is just, sent back to me that way. So it's pretty easy.
And just a word on the self-publishing, it's 90% of the market nowadays, but when you've got major publishing companies wanting you to change, they want you to change people's names, the scenes.
Yes.
My sci-fi, it's reality, because how many times is a cousin named similar to your son or something, and the publishing company, they want you to change all that. And, well, hell, I'm sorry, I said hell, but anyway, they tried to...
If you heard any of the rap music we played earlier. I don't think hell is going to be your biggest problem today. There.
I had editors tell me to take guns out of my book because it would drive readers away. So, I mean, even the book industry is getting very political picky on what you can and can't write about. So,
totally.
Self-marketing or self-publishing is, as long as you get editors. Oh my goodness, I tell people this all the time. Get editors. Do not self-publish just without an editor. That just drives me insane.
I'm the worst speller in the world, and so I have editors. And one of my best friends, she taught me, like, at an early age, I have to edit a lot. She worked for the LA Times for 10 years, and so she was an editor there. And I was like, okay, I get it. There's nothing like having a bad typo, and then we also have to fact check and all that type of stuff too. And especially with the biography ones, it's daunting. And
never type on your phone because of auto spell.
No.
Oh my God.
Never fun.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun time, as they say.
No, when you message your sister-in-law and say, "I miss making you smile," and it comes out as, "I miss making you smelling you," yeah, don't type.
See, romance is not dead.
That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Mr. Darren joins us here in our broadcast. Now, if people want to buy your comics, be involved with you, how do they do this? Where can we get your stuff, my friend?
I just actually, you can go to Amazon. Amazon sells everything in print now. So we have over, I think, 300 books in print. You can type in TidalWave Productions and under Amazon, and I think tomorrow is Prime Day at Amazon, so you get deals. And you can get our graphic novels and that type of stuff. And then also, if you have a Kindle or Nook, you can also download the ebook, go to Comixology, wherever you read books. And it's fun.
Do you have a
and it's fun, you know. That's why people read this stuff, because it's fun.
Totally.
And
some of the stuff that we do, you know, like we just did with the royal wedding that just happened. We just did a royal wedding comic book, and so like stuff like that is really neat because I get to be, you know, memorabilia, you know, wedding memorabilia, and so it's kind of neat to be a part of that. And you know, and even too, like with the political landscape and stuff, you know, I'm part of political memorabilia now, and that to me is so
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it's super cool.
Do you have a YouTube channel where you read some of your stuff?
No, that's where I'm kind of low. Like, I'm really bad at YouTube, and I should do more. So, do you remember the movie Logan's Run?
No.
No.
It was like a 70s movie. So the guy that created
I'm not that old.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is there is a guy that I used to work out with who he changed his name literally to Logan 1.
No.
W-O-N.
No.
So yes, but go ahead. Logan's Run, yes.
Yeah, so Logan's Run, it's a 70s movie. It was based off a best-selling novel. We do the comic books of it. And so the last thing I think I posted on YouTube was he read Logan's Run #1 for us. And we just sat there watching. So, because he's like 90. So it was neat to see that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but some of the books that we get to do, I worked with Shatner for years. Adam West, when he was alive, we did a bunch of, we did a comic book series called Misadventures of Adam West, where he, you know, because he's the most bitter actor in the world, and he really was. And
he's the most bitter actor in the world.
Well, he was, and he owned it too, and so he ended up. So a fan sends him an amulet in the mail, and the amulet basically takes him back into time to be all the people that he's always wanted to be.
Aww.
So like a space ranger and this. And so the series ran for like I think about 20 issues. He was a wonderful man. So nice, so funny.
Why can't science learn or people learn from science? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
By the way, we just got a I don't know why these people send me messages in the middle of the show.
Because they like your drama?
But
they like your drama.
and we've got with us today Darren Davis. He joins us live here on the telephone, and we also got Jay Birdwell's in studio. And I just got a text from our good old buddy, Mr. Michael Nagy. Michael, of course, is, and we'll catch Darren up here. I took he moved back to the state of New Jersey a couple weeks ago, and he didn't want to take the road trip alone, so he paid for me to go with him in a U-Haul on a cross-country road trip. It was the weirdest thing I've ever. Well, I've had weirder, but that was a weird experience. But he just sent me a text that says, "Well, I'm listening to the show, and I bet Jay will be so pissed that I can also say that I'm on Internet Movie Database now. I played a killer chicken."
That's congratulations,
congratulations. Nagy. He's been a killer chicken. I think maybe what he's trying, the reason he sent me that is because he's thinking, well, Darren's a comic book guy. Maybe Darren will do a comic book about me. That's the whole reason why he sent me the text during your interview.
I can totally do, I've done dogs, like comic books. I'm sure I could do live chickens.
Well, you'll just have to come out to my farm, and I'll hook you up with some chickens and goats. And
there you go.
I actually had urban chickens for a while.
Urban chickens!
Oh my goodness!
What the hell's an urban chicken?
I lived in like a house. Okay, this is really bad, but it's pretty entertaining. So I worked from home, and so I needed to do something. So I got 3 chickens, and so I lived in this. Like one side of my house was like suburban hell, and the other side of the house was was a wheat farm. So I needed something, so I got these 3 chickens, and I adored them and I loved them. And then the HOA was like so mad that I had chickens, and so they threatened to like sue me and if I didn't get rid of them and blah blah blah. And so I went to a therapist and had them qualify as service chickens.
Oh my goodness!
So I could take my chickens on planes if I wanted to.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, and there were hens too because most big cities don't allow roosters.
Yeah, you can have, and I don't have them anymore. I've moved since then, but
service chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them they can be friendly.
Service chicken.
Some of them can be
they're like cats.
Yeah.
They're like cats.
Well, you can pet some of them. And I hate some of these YouTube videos when you see these mothers like filming their kids running away from roosters. Like, oh my God, you know what? Just teach the kid to sit there and defend himself. Because, I mean, that's what you got to do.
Children versus roosters in a fight on YouTube. There you go.
Well, no, I'm saying that they laugh at their kids getting hurt by these roosters.
Oh, yeah. People have basically...
And that irritates me.
This generation of parents are not parents.
Well, if they stop eating Tide Pods or Tide Pods or whatever.
Oh, my God. I love Tide Pods. They are such a great treat. Yeah, if you're eating Tide Pods, you're pretty much an idiot.
Yeah. I'm not paying for your medical bills, Darren. Sorry.
You are so stupid. You are so stupid. That's just it.
Well, Darren, before we let you go, my friend, what's next for you as a creator?
As a creator, I am doing a modern-day version of Juliet. So issue 1 just came out. I'm working on issue number 2 right now. So it's like, what would happen if Juliet really didn't die and she was just given a potion that kept her asleep for 500 years? So
exactly.
Now she's back, and she's a sword-wielding badass.
Oh, nice. I'm hooked.
That's awesome.
Hooked.
That's awesome.
I had a question, and now I can't remember it.
And hopefully one of our TV show deals go through, and then I have 5 things that have been optioned. So you can read that on my IMDb.
Everybody's on Internet Movie Database today.
Not everybody.
He's on Internet Movie Database. You're on Internet Movie Database. Nagy's a killer chicken. He's on Internet Movie Database.
So now what you're saying is we're going to have this whole if everybody's special, nobody's special?
Apparently. I think that's what's coming down to. Well, Darren, thanks for spending so much time with us. I appreciate it, my friend, and we'll definitely have to have you back, my man.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, sir. There goes Mr. Darren Davis, the big star. Star, stage, and screen, Darren Davis.
It's gonna drive me nuts what that question was.
Well, you've got his Twitter.
So now I don't know if he had...
TidalWave Pod or something?
I'll just stalk him on Twitter.
I'll look it up. In fact, what am I doing? I got his email in front of me. I'll just look at it right now. Sometimes I one of the things that I like to joke about on this show is that there are so many people in this world who they often wonder how I'm able to wake up in the morning and put 2 feet on the ground and pull myself up out of bed while I'm sitting here. And I've just interviewed the guy, and I go, I'll look up his Twitter sometime. I'm like, you're an idiot. It's right here. TidalWaveProd. TidalWave Prod is his Twitter handle. Go check out Mr. Darren Davis. Good Lord. Go check him out today.